All right, all right. What's up, all of my real gamers out there? How are you? What's going on? It's me, your brother, and your video game aficionado. He bought it. He bought the kiss. He bought, whatever you want to call him. I gotta talk about subject because it's really starting to annoy me, really, really bad, and that is that I keep seeing a lot of so-called hardcore Xbox fans on social media with the same tagline or quote or comment of Xbox better show up in July like the way PlayStation did with the PS5 presentation. What are you talking about? You see, that's the problem here. This is the problem that bothers me every freaking time. Let's go all the way back to the beginning in 2013, okay? And I'll make this simple and short. The Xbox One and Microsoft released the Xbox One console at a higher price point, but it came with a camera that you didn't have to buy separate, with features that were right on the console right from the jump to utilize the camera to make it an experience feel as a whole cohesive unit with controlling everything on the console with the camera, right? Which ultimately you would need to stream because most people stream now. You didn't have to buy separate like you did with PlayStation, right? So you really weren't paying more than PlayStation 4 because you still had to go buy it separately for the PS4. You just had the option to buy it without it and bought it when you were ready to, right? And everybody touted how that was so consumer friendly, right? But what people seem to forget is that PlayStation was able to light up a cigarette, sit down on the couch, pour themselves a drink, and enjoy the laurels of their success. Meaning, the PS5, since launch, was praised, given a fair shot, even though it had no games, because Knack and Killzone was all they had to offer, and then a month later, or March, right, 5 months later, Infamous, Second Son, right? And I remember everybody praising it for multi-platinum resolutions, which is old. This is old recorded news that, it's like a broken record we keep repeating. I'll say it again one more time. Microsoft did not have the same position. They were in a position where they were touted as being unconsumer friendly. They were trying to steal your rights with DRM when it was really to protect the developers so that they can make more money, because places like GameStop and Walmart, Target would steal right off underneath your faces with overloaded prices for used games, and developers would not see a dime, right? Which ultimately end up being that way anyway this gen, and that's why we're seeing more digital consoles and digital solutions and options, right? On every spectrum: Switch, PS4, and Xbox. Right? Now, keep in mind, DRM started on PS3 when it came to consoles. No one talked about it. So, they didn't just sit down and enjoy themselves. They couldn't sit down and have a good time. They couldn't sit down and concentrate on just focusing all their attention to developers, game releases, and what games and developers they could actually try to make deals with, like to make more third-party deals, make more custom consoles. None of that. Unless it was their big AAAs. And yet they still kept delivering title after title after title. Okay? Just till last year, we got Gears 5, which was a high-quality, photorealistic, high-budget title. But I do recall, because my memory serves me correctly, because I'm not retarded, I'm not slow, at least not yet, because I'm not old enough, and I'm also not senile, at least not yet, thank God, right? And that's not making any type of making fun of older people at all. That's not what I'm doing. For all those who like to change what people say. Go ahead, Attack. When Microsoft, so far for next generation, they were the ones that came first in December by showing off the console, what it looked like, and then showing previews of games like Halo Infinite and like, obviously, Hellblade 2, right? And then shortly after that, you've seen other stuff like the Everwild, which was in E3, things like, Project Mira that were also released, and a couple other stuff that you see, like before that, rather, which was in E3 of last year, then December in the game show. And then they've been showing trickles, little here and there since then, like the console specs, how it looks like inside, how it was built, a lot of information. They did their first showing and showcase, which would be for E3, with the third-party stuff, and what they showed was already right off the back about 6 games that were going to be exclusively to the Xbox Series X, and that were only possible on the Xbox Series X to get the games to run to their full potential of the vision of the developers. And then they had some, third party that more than likely will be, timed, or also on other platforms or consoles, like Valhalla, right? Assassin's Creed. They show videos of the actual gameplay being played. They even show featurettes of 2 of the developers, Medium and Scorn, which is the people who did Blair Witch, and Layers of Fear, talking about how they're going to benefit and why they chose the console, the Xbox Series X, with Medium, or for Medium. Then they also did a lot of articles immediately after the show with developers from Scorn and even the developers that are doing Dirt 5, right? So they were very transparent, a lot of information, a lot of information, and a lot of things that were shown, right? And all you saw and all you heard right away from a whole bunch of people, right? And most of these are the trolls or the Xbox haters. And then you have, obviously, the so-called Xbox hardcores that want to play the neutral card because they think if they don't do that, they're doing something wrong by only praising and talking about Xbox for whatever reason. And they were like, they didn't show enough gameplay, like actually showing somebody playing the game. Like if that wasn't the real gameplay. Or like it was throwing you off. Or like it was them deceiving you as a consumer, right? Okay? So far what we have, console reveal, console specs, upcoming exclusive first-party IPs, previews of all of them, and third-party exclusives to the console already. And on top of that, they talked about smart delivery. They talked about how all the capabilities of the console, what it's going to do, things like, the HDR, or things like what they're going to do and what they're aiming for with the backwards compatibility, continuing forward with the Series X, right? All these information they're giving us. They even let us know and talking about how everything you bought, like all your peripherals, everything of those things and that nature, will go forward with you with your console. With the PS5, all you got was a bunch of trailers, and the only ones that showed gameplay from the first-party IP was Sackboy, right? Which is their real exclusive. A horrible presentation of Gran Turismo, which is a third-party IP. The Ratchet and Clank, which looked the best from the presentation. And then Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Which is all a CG trailer, right? Saying that it's using in-game engine quality. No release date. That's all they showed. Which you already saw, 2 of those were more cartoony and kiddie-style games. Then they showed a plethora of third-party games that were timed exclusives, not full-on exclusives, coming to Xbox and PS5. They worded it differently to make it seem they were that way. And then they showed a bunch of other games that look also very kiddie-style, like that Bug game, or like Stray with the cat, or like Astrobot, the other demo tool that they use in the console so that you can figure out and discover the features that the controller has to offer with the new console, right? And everybody praised him, was wonderful. Oh yeah, it's great, because they also showed on top of that games that were for adults. Really? Really? So Scorn didn't look cartoony. Or looked cartoony, rather. So the Medium looked cartoony. Bright Memory Infinite looked cartoony. Hellblade 2 looked cartoony. Project Mirror looked cartoony. Halo Infinite looks cartoony. Really? The Ascend looked cartoony. Shit, Call of the Sea didn't even look cartoony. It was stylized, but it didn't look cartoony. Even Everwild. You see, and then I keep seeing, oh, they need to make more realistic looking games instead of cartoony games. And okay, it'd be nice to have more realistic looking games. Absolutely, I agree 100%. What I don't agree with is the idea and mentality that if they're cartoony, or the correct term, stylized graphic game, because that's really the correct term, right? That people want to brush it off to the side like it's not a game, or like it don't add value to your purchase, or like it's not worth getting, or like it's not going to be a big title, or like it's not going to be a title that's going to offer amazing gameplay with amazing gameplay mechanics, fun factor, and a plethora of new innovations. I don't understand where this logic comes from, and people want to call themselves gamers, or real gamers for that matter. Any real gamer knows that a good game is a good game. It doesn't matter the title, the budget, doesn't matter the graphic style, the music, even the fucking story. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Why is it that when Nintendo makes Luigi's Mansion 3, Xenosaga 2, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Party, Mario Kart, the new Mario World, right? Why isn't it, or Mario Odyssey rather, when they make those games, everybody says it's okay because it's Nintendo. No, you say it's okay because you guys know that even though they look cartoony, they're exceptional games with great gameplay and fun factor and the fundamentals of gaming. And that's why you guys praised it. And they deserve the praise if they're very good quality. They do. No one argued that. Well, people like me, 100, have argued for a long time. Sega Man, Sega Forever, Ghost, people like that, right? That like us, we've said a lot of times that the problem with Nintendo is that they don't offer enough games for adults with adult context, like cursing, blood, gore, just context of adults, right? And that's why the systems always feel more dedicated and aimed at a younger audience, like teenagers, young teenagers, or maybe little kids. Okay? So everybody knows how to use their logic and think like gamers when it comes to Nintendo. When it comes to PlayStation, all they talk about is the hyper-realistic graphics, because that's all Sony ever, sponsors and advertise, because they are a movie company. So that's all they know how to do. So they prevent all their games like movies, because a lot of them basically feel like movies. instead of games, which has been my argument the entire time. They don't feel like games. They feel like movies. And they have a plethora of a bunch of Chinese, Japanese, all types of games from other developers from other countries that are very kiddie, very cartoony, and even games from themselves like Knack that they have and Ratchet that are cartoony. But everybody's okay with it because they give you all this other stuff first, when it's not true. They just all advertise those hyper-realistic games more because that's their bread and butter. So back again, like I was saying from the beginning of the video, Microsoft could not concentrate in those things that you guys keep on talking about. They had to do the best they could with what they had. They had a big investment with Platinum Games with Scalebound, which they were screwing them over, and that's why you see Platinum Games and Eki Kamaya bringing it up back on the subject of saying, Microsoft, let us do Scalebound, because they know they messed up and now they want to get another chance. Because instead of focusing on this big project that was going to be the biggest deal that they did and the biggest project they did because it was this dream game, they were also concentrating on doing 8 other games for Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, right? Like Nier Automata, for example. But you guys want to act like Microsoft has done this on purpose instead of because they were given no choice. They had to stop their focus on games, making third-party deals, making more custom consoles, doing more acquisitions of certain IPs, or maybe even of smaller studios, because of the fact that all they were getting was negativity, whether about resolution, not being 1080p, when now nobody talks about it, or things like, that things like frame rates, like the frame rate, or not even dynamic resolution stuff, making a mockery of all things they did. Okay, everything they did was making a mockery out of it. It was never just, let's concentrate on the games and let's see where they go from here, right? Then there were like things about the console being too big, yet now the PS5 looks like a masterpiece when it's huge, right? But the Xbox One was a VCR. Or things like, the brick, it's ugly. They needed to incorporate it inside when the brick was a power surge built to protect the console in case of any blackouts, right? Which we have with PS1, which we have with the Switch. It's not nothing new, but when that was there, nobody complained about it, right? They even had to worry about, just stupid, superficial things, right? So they cut off the narrative of the power. They cut off the narrative of the size. They cut off the narrative of the brick. They cut off the narrative, stupid shit like the setting. We can't find the setting. That was a lie. They cut off the narrative of the Kinect, giving people the option to use it if they want or not use it if they don't want to. They cut out stuff like Snap and all that stuff because it wasn't making enough usage of it, and the money that was going into those type of features weren't being utilized enough just so they could concentrate on other aspects of the console and other features to deliver. They made sure they brought backwards compat free of charge with free enhancements for many of the games. And then now they're concentrating on making a digital console for those who want it. And then they concentrated on making a next generation console at the same time to have the most powerful console, the most efficiently made console for next gen. Getting out the door right off the door, right? Right off the door, right? And they started acquiring developers to have more in-house developers, even created Game Pass for ease of access so people wouldn't feel obligated to buy their games in case that they got review bombed unfairly, so people wouldn't feel hesitant and think, if the game's trash, I don't want to buy it. They had an option to try it out, and then if they like it, make their own opinion and go buy it. They have done everything that any company could possibly do to be consumer friendly and show that they care about games, gamers, and the gaming community, right? Sony hasn't done none of that. Sony finally gave you the ability that you can, change your gamer tag, right? But it comes at a risk where if you change it, you might lose everything you have. And I'm not saying that it happened to people, but some people did. It did happen to them. It did occur. That's about the biggest thing that they've done that people asked for, and then they couldn't even do it correctly, right? Then they do their show, and like I said, they show nothing but timed exclusives, and their IPs that they show are 2 kiddie games, 2 adult games that are nowhere near finished, that are nowhere near representative of the final product, and people are trying to say that Sony already won next gen. That Microsoft better bring it in July in their showcase. You can't be a real Xbox gamer if you keep doing things this way and expect that that's going to help the brand, because you're crybaby and you're acting like a shill and pretending to be a real Xbox dude when you really aren't. You just play games. That's it. It don't matter what console, because you don't care about the politics and if what company has done right by the customer and what company hasn't done right. Okay, only real gamers pay attention to that, because it's important, because a lot of that is what determines the future of gaming, how it will keep growing, or how it's getting hurt. Okay? That's why it's important, even though you may think it's not. Okay? So, this is the dumb stuff that you keep seeing. And then the worst part about it is you say something to them in a respectful manner with logic, common sense, and with, being very professional, right? For lack of a better term. And then they say, you're being an ex-twat, you're a jerk, you're a fanboy, you're this, you're that. But yet you can't discuss in detail and describe your argument that you're doing to begin with actual evidence and facts to back up what you're saying. Because you saying they have too many cartoony games still doesn't prove your point. Because the style of graphics of a game doesn't determine if the game is good, or if it's big budget, or if it's a AAA, or if it's not a AAA. It doesn't determine that. It's the quality of the game and how good it is at the end of the day. Okay? And this is what this is this type of behavior that needs to stop. Because if you guys keep adding this fuel to the fire, then the stupidity is going to carry over from this generation onto next gen, with Microsoft and with the biased, and then with the stupid unwarranted hate or lack of support or attention or credit to them, even if they're doing everything right and deserve it and earned it. It's going to carry over. And it's going to carry over because of you, smaller individuals that don't think like real fans and gamers, right, as a whole. Like you want to praise a game like Last of Us 2, right, with so many things wrong with it, but yet still say, but the game is still good, right? But then you want to trash Xbox games that either you never played, or if you played it, you didn't play it enough, or if you saw it from the outside, saw a trailer, or you saw the Metacritic, you didn't just completely blew it off and didn't even try it. But have the nerve to say that it's trash or that it's garbage. You can't do that either, because then that makes you guys who do that look like hypocrites. And you can't call out one side of the fence and then act differently on another side of the fence, right? On another side of the fence, when you know you're doing the exact same thing. The only difference is you're doing and picking and choosing which titles you do it with, or which games you do it with, or which situation of the moment you're doing it with. You can't do that. I'm not part of that. I will never be like that. No. Mm-mm. If I say it's one way, that's the way it's going to stay on all matters and all situations. Unless it's something completely drastically different that has a valid reason for me to change my mind. Nah. Because that's called flip-flopping indirectly. You can't say something about that person or the way they do things, and then you do it differently when it works in your favor or your belief or your taste at that moment. It doesn't work that way. No. That's hypocrisy. Okay? So, at the end of the day, like I said, there's no reason for people that are calling themselves real Xbox fans and gamers to be saying that Xbox needs to bring it in July. I'm pretty sure Xbox knows what position they're in and what they need to do. But I also don't want Xbox to be just doing photo hyper-realistic games only with no substance, with no real gameplay, with no real fun factor, where it just all becomes fetch quests or long open world games with no real points, just doing stupid little things. That's not making a game long. That's just making you waste your time. I wanted to have priority in gameplay, cinematic moments all throughout, cinematic cutscenes, fine, for a good story, good music, but most importantly, more gameplay time than anything else. Everything else, minimize it. More concentration on gameplay and fun factor. If the graphics want to be hyper-realistic, more power to us. If they want to be stylized, that all depends the type of style it is and what type of game it is. If it's a platformer, a beat 'em up, or hack and slash and it looks good, even though it's stylized, like that Japanese game they showed on the Xbox show, that's fine. The Nexus game from Bandai. Or like this upcoming Samurai Jack. I'm getting that day one. That game is fire. It looks fire. From the people at Team Ninja doing the combat. Okay? Same way that Ultimate Alliance 3 looked good and is a pretty awesome and decent game on the Nintendo Switch. And they don't have photorealistic graphics, but it's good. So, this is the hypocrisy that people like us, like me, have to call out. Because we got a voice. And we can't let certain Xbox individuals dictate the narrative. Like they speaking for us. Like, yeah, this is what all Xbox dudes want. Because if not, it's garbage. You don't speak for me. I like the diversity Microsoft has given it. With Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, Crackdown 3, Ori, Grounded. You know what I mean? I like that diversity. The same way they already showed games like Flight Simulator. That hasn't been on a console in so long. It might be good for fun, might not. Battletoads, right? A lot of games on down the pipeline from all different genres, all different types of style. Okay? We need diversity. If not, it's going to get stale real fast. If you've got the same games on Xbox, same games on PlayStation, and even on the Switch, it's going to get stale real quick. And I'm going to lose my interest in gaming as a whole. And a lot of you, I think, will feel the same way. Guys, let's speak out. Don't let these dudes that think because they have bigger channels or because they have a bigger following or because people listen to them more often than not, dictate the entire Xbox community and what we want as a whole for the future of Xbox. Don't let them dictate it. Let's speak. Let's do these videos. Let's counter attack their points of views with our points of views and show them that it's not that simple as black and white. I know I will keep doing it. I don't care if you guys like me or not. I already told you guys. I'm not here to become famous. I'm here to speak gaming as a root gamer. You follow me because you respect me. You don't follow me because I want you to think I'm a star and that I think I'm cute or I'm somebody and I run things in the Xbox community. That's not how I work. I can care less what you think about me. That's my thoughts, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think after what you heard me say. And your points of views, right? Just be respectful, because if you're not respectful, I'm not wasting my time. I'm just going to erase the comment. And, like always, leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like or didn't like the video. Share it with someone you think might like the video. And as always, after these trying times, if things get better and you guys ever want to help me out from the kindness of your heart, you guys know how to do it. It's all down in the description below. Xbox for life, like a sickness that can't be cured, people. That's my saying. That's my slogan. Don't get triggered. It's all in good fun. It's all in gaming. See you in the next one, guys. Be safe. Love you guys. Bye.